What's going on, guys? Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, Georgia. In front of us, we have an oldie but a goodie. This is a 2018 Kawasaki Z650, and as you guys can probably tell, this is the ABS model. You guys know the deal. This mountain doesn't sell Kawasaki's, but when they get a used Kawasaki in, I always jump on it for you guys because I know you guys are always asking for Kawasaki's. This Z650, I looked on my channel. I have never ridden this motorcycle before. So I am excited to see what Kawasaki is bringing in the middleweight naked department, at least circa 2018. I'm super excited. It's a first ride. We have a brand new sponsor, and I am so excited about this video specifically because we got something new for you guys. You're going to have to stick around and check it out. Let's see what it looks like, and let's see what it sounds like. Alright guys, that's what it looks like, that's what it sounds like. Now, this video is not sponsored, but it is supported by WBRgarage.com. That is my website where I am currently building a Yamaha R6. I'm turning it into an R6M, and then once we get done building it, we are giving it away. If you guys want to potentially win that motorcycle, just go to WBRgarage.com and get entries. You can either get entries by getting a membership, you can get some of the merch, and whatever you do, the website will automatically contabulate your entries and keep up with them. And who knows, you might just buy a coffee cup and the next thing you know, you're winning a motorcycle. So it's a good time if you're already a member. Thank you guys so much. And let's get to this first ride, guys. Alrighty, I got all my new Revit gear. Shout out to Revit, guys. I told Revit, I was like, look guys, I love your gear, but that old stuff I was in, it was too hot. In Georgia, it is crazy hot these days. And they were nice enough to send me out some new shoes. I got this new sick freaking jacket, and I got these new gloves. They are gonna make it be a little more comfortable to ride in this Georgia heat. Let's get this Z650 turned on. I'm 5'10", I got a 32-inch inseam, and I've got super bent legs right now, guys. If you are a shorter rider, this bike will be great for you. I've got no problem touching the ground. This is a used bike, guys. As you guys can see, 14,000 miles. Somebody really put the miles on this thing. And as far as aftermarket, it looks like we have an aftermarket seat and an aftermarket little windscreen here. Not sure how much that windscreen will do, but we'll find out. And without further ado, guys, I got the levers adjusted. Let's get this thing going. I can't wait to get to the highway. I want to get to the highway so bad so I can show you guys the new thing. If you guys are Discord fans, by the way, we have a motorcycle Discord. We have tons of people that are fans of motorcycles in there. So if you're looking for a Discord community for motorcycles, we got a place. There's a link for you in the description if you want to check it out. Good God. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. For you guys, for you unknowledgeable people that don't know what the Z650 is this car going to get over on me? Let's hope not. Guys, the Z650 currently exists in one of the most popular and challenging categories out there, the middleweight naked department. There are some absolutely phenomenal bikes in this class, the big dog of which is our lovely MT-07. You guys know the MT-07 sells like hotcakes, so I'm interested to see how this bike compares. But as the first ride, let's talk about body position. So guys, as you kind of saw from the beginning of the video, The seat height on this bike is really low. That's pretty normal for Kawasaki's. You know, Kawasaki and Suzuki are typically your sit in the motorcycle, whereas Honda and Yamaha are more of sit on top. That is very much true here on the Z650. I feel like I'm inside the motorcycle. Now, that does make your legs get a little cramped up. I'm 5'10", I don't really have that much of a problem with it, and I kind of like the, you know, cramped up legs. It gets me in like a sporty position. But I could imagine if you were a little taller than me, the legs would feel a little too cramped possibly. Now the upper half, very upright. I've got my arms kind of draped here at the side, slightly leaned forward. A very comfortable body position for a 5'10" rider like myself. And I would say this aftermarket, even though the seat is aftermarket, the seat's really comfortable. Maybe a little too soft, but overall not too bad. I like this body position. If I was going to modify it at all, I would just want the seat to be just a smidge higher. I think that would be the only modification I would have. I do feel like this bike ergonomically makes sense for the user case that you'll be doing with this bike. All right, guys, let's talk about modes on this thing. We don't got none. No modes on the Z650. You've got Kawasaki's twin powering this thing. So far, I don't think you really need modes. You know, Kawasaki is one of those companies that allows you to have ABS on some models and not on others. And as I told you guys from the get-go, we do have the ABS model here, but that's pretty much the only electronic rider aids. So if you're a rider aids type of guy, this might not be the bike for you. But if you like one of those unencumbered bikes that doesn't get in the way of you riding it, this is a pretty solid option for you. Hey, while I'm stuck at a red light, you guys want to let me know in the comments what you think about the new jacket? I was a little worried that a white-ish jacket wouldn't go with my silver helmet, but after seeing it together, I kind of like it. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, guys, so as far as city riding on the Z650, this bike is a smaller bike, and it definitely looks smaller, I'm sure, to you guys. And going back and forth in the road, you would think it would be a little more agile, but I think because of the lower seat height, it puts you in a different and kind of weird position, and it's not quite as flicky from side to side. I don't feel like I have as much power over the bike as I kind of have come to expect on naked bikes. It definitely doesn't do a bad job. I don't want to make you guys think that, but you know, I have a certain expectation for these smaller middleweight nakeds when it comes to city riding, and I'm not really getting the agility that I kind of expect. That could be partly to that rear tire. I noticed when I was rolling it out a mountain, that rear tire looks pretty shot. I feel like the person that had this bike beforehand did a lot of highway riding on it because it's kind of squared off in the middle. Not quite as agile as the competitors. You know what? We're gonna do a little shortcut. We're gonna do an old Mario style shortcut, baby. Little, ooh, gravel. Let's not hit that. Leaned over. Nobody noticed me. Nobody noticed me. Everything is fine. I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to. All right, I need you to Men in Black like you guys saw nothing, okay? Like little Obi-Wan Kenobi action. Alrighty, well, let's get this little parallel twin motorcycle. A motorcycle friend. Another Kawasaki motorcycle friend. Let's catch up. Let's use this parallel twin and catch up to our motorcycle buddy. Yay! Parallel twins are great for city riding. Alrighty, guys, so the parallel twin here on city streets, it is so great. I can put it in 6th gear and I'm chilling. I've got great little fun torquey power. I love these engines for this style of riding, and that's why I always tend to recommend like the 400 to the 650 range, especially for a first bike. It's got such a fun amount of power that I don't think you'll get bored of too quickly. Alrighty, guys, so we are on a naked bike. We do not have a lot of wind protection, so the highway entrance is going to be a little interesting, but we're on a parallel twin, so we got fun torquey power. I'm excited to see how this thing does on the highway, and I'm even more excited for the 40 to 80 pole. The time has come. All right, guys, we're about to be getting on the highway with the 2018 Kawasaki Z650 ABS model, brought to you by the one and only Law Tigers, the motorcycle lawyer. And we're only getting up to 80, and if I go a little faster, I got some motorcycle lawyers to back me up. So guys, let's get the 40 to 80 pull sequence going, and let's see what she'll do. Alrighty, I think third gear is where we need to be. I got my HUD up. On your mark, get set, go! That's 80 on my dash. That's a little over 80 on my dash. Alrighty guys, look at that. Nobody should say a 650 is a slow motorcycle, because it is most definitely not. Alrighty guys, we're here on the highway with the 2018 Kawasaki Z650. Let's talk about wind real quick. There is definitely wind, but that little windshield is doing a pretty decent job. I'm not really feeling wind until my chest. Now, I do think if I was on the highway for maybe an hour, it would get a little tiring because I am upright, so I'm having to press against that wind. That is definitely a clutch thing to get for this motorcycle. As far as vibration here on the highway, I've got a little vibration in my handlebar, specifically my right hand. And then I've got a little bit of vibration in my feet, but it's not enough that I would complain about. I've got no problem with the amount of vibration. Again, if you're looking at like a 1 hour one-way commute, you're definitely gonna have no problem. Now, as far as power on the highway, I am going 80 miles an hour in 6th gear, and I have plenty of power left. You guys are not gonna feel like you're power tapped on the highway with this thing. Which is good. You could, like your first bike, you could get, and it can easily handle the highway. Obviously, we have no modes, we have no cruise control, so we're fully manual over here. But I am finding that with this lower seat height, this thing is just cutting through the highway with no problem. And I'm totally digging that. Is that new Hyundai, that new electric Hyundai? I have to get close to that. I'm so sorry. The one that looks like a little Porsche? I love that car. The Hyundai Ioniq 6, bro, yes. This thing is actually way better on the highway than I expected it to be. I'm gonna keep cruising down the highway. While I do that, I'm gonna play some tunes thanks to our buddies over at Cardo. If you guys are looking for a Bluetooth communicator, check them out. Cardo, play me some music. You guys ever have that piece of gear that when you ride with it, you don't realize how much you love it until you can't have it or don't have it? That's how I feel about my Cardo. If I ever leave my Cardo at the house and I can't ride around and listen to music, it legitimately makes me sad. All right, enough of the highway. Let's get this thing leaned over and see if I can catch up. You see, the leaning over part of these bikes that you sit into, I'm not a huge fan of the feeling. I don't like being inside the motorcycle and leaning it over. There's nothing necessarily bad about this bike. Like, the suspension feels fine, and for the price point, it totally works. I think Mountain is selling this thing for like $6 grand, so it's definitely on the lower end on the price wise, but nothing crazy confidence inspiring. I very much prefer to be on top of the bikes. Those tend to be the ones that make me feel really good when I get them leaned over. All right, so guys, we are going to talk about the power delivery on this thing if I don't hit any cars in the meantime. So guys, as I said, parallel twin here in the Z650, very typical. This engine is a little different than Yamaha's MT-07, which makes it vibrate differently, sound differently. But one of the things that I noticed with this bike is it feels like it's holding a lot of power in the middle part. Like, that's not really surprising with parallel twins. It's kind of like a design characteristic. They always have punchy middle power, and I feel like for city riding, this engine is fantastic. I don't know if I prefer it over the MT-07, because the MT-07 is a little wheelie monster. That thing just wants to wheelie all the time. And I don't get that vibe with the Z650 as much. Maybe part of that is the seating, the different seating position or something like that. But as far as a city riding bike, This thing is great. It might not be quite as maneuverable as other bikes in the category, but it is still fantastic. As far as the transmission goes, definitely get a solid click when I'm shifting. There is no doubt. The transmission feels great. The gearing is at a very good spot. It complements the engine's power very well. I'm shifting when I want to, so I feel like that transmission and gearing ratio matches really well with their power. The braking's not bad. The ABS kicks on relatively quickly, but haven't really had a problem where it's intrusive, and there have been a couple of times where I slammed on the brakes a little harder than I should. I'll put that off as me testing the motorcycle's brakes. It's totally fine. It's got Nissan calipers, and Nissan has surprised me. For a while I was like, oh, Nissan is, you know, bargain bin stuff. But Nissan brakes are solid, dude. I got no problem with them. I've got no problem with them here on the Z650. Alrighty guys, let's talk about the cluster up here. Now remember, we are talking about a 2018 motorcycle, which, this might shock you, is 5 years ago, right? I know, mind-blowing. So let's start with the levers. We got the kind of decent levers here, the silver ones. They are adjustable, which is one of the main things I look for. The material's a little slippery, so I don't love that. I don't love the fact that they're silver, but you know what? They do the job just fine. I get a good pull on them. I get a good feel. Got no problem there. Over here, we've got kind of the middle of the road buttons. We got the starter and the kill switch on the right, as long as the throttle, of course. And then we have blinkers. We have got the high beam, low beam. We have the emergency and the horn. Everything's fine. Everything, you know, when I've used it, has had a good click. It's decent. It's about what you would expect out of a motorcycle at this price point. I got nothing really bad to say about it. Grips wise, grips are okay. I've definitely felt better grips, but they wouldn't be something I would complain about. And the handlebars are in a good position as far as being bent backwards towards me as the rider. I got no problems here. Now, talking about the dash, we got kind of a minimal dash. We have coolant level on the left. We've got a gas gauge on the right, which I absolutely love. Odometer, we got a time, we got gear speed, and we have this little, like, it's physical up here, but then it's digital here. You know, this is one of those dashes where it's fine. It's not a big deal. I wouldn't expect too much more on a motorcycle coming in at this price point. It kind of does go with the motorcycle. I feel like this is a pretty cohesive look, which is, I think, one of the reasons I wish the levers were blacked out, because I feel like it would make the look a lot better up front. And the mirrors are actually pretty decent. They stick out a decent amount, and I can very easily see behind me in that mirror with no problem at all. So overall package, I think, is solid. The bike looks super thin. For like, I just noticed this when I was sitting back on it. Look how thin the bike looks from way back here. Kind of strange. Very, very sharp. Very small little guy. Alrighty guys, up here we are going to pull off into the church parking lot, and we're gonna do a little walk around of the Z650 and see what the old 2018 thing looked like. Oh snap, we got an empty parking lot. Yeah. Alrighty guys, let us check out the old Z650 from long ago, back in the year 2018. We got the cool green trellis frame, which you know, very Kawasaki of them. And overall, the bike looks tiny. Does this look tiny to you guys from here? It's got a real tiny vibe going on. I do think that modified, the the aftermarket windshield does a fantastic job of bringing the bike together. Not a huge fan of the silver in the engine. I kind of wish everything was blacked out. That'd be a little cooler. I do think the swing arm's kind of neat. You got this little flowy guy back here. Overall, pretty decent look. I'm not overly into the looks of this bike. Don't really love that the fork silver is different than the engine. You know, I could nitpick all day. This is not necessarily for me. It does have this Kawasaki kind of muscly gas tank looking thing, which is pretty cool. Tail's pretty decent. It's already got a little tail tidy on here, which is awesome. And got a little angular tail light. We love that. Not a huge fan of the material of this seat. I don't know if this is aftermarket or not. Not a huge fan. It looks like old cheap leather. Also, these are aftermarket. These are not, they just don't come on the bike. These are super helpful though. Overall guys, let me know in the comments what you think about the little Z650 ABS model here. And if you're a Kawasaki fan, you know, this is totally up your alley. Even the paint, look at the little pearlescent in the paint. I do appreciate that. I'm gonna grab my phone and I am going to do some vertical content for you guys over on our Instagram, which is at C2WPics, and the TikTok page that we have, which is at Chaseontwowheels. I'm gonna record those and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, that is vertical content done. These look aftermarket. I think they are, and I appreciate them. I'm finding out all the aftermarket stuff with you guys. Alright guys, that's it for the walk around. Let's do a turnaround test, and then let's do purchase or pass. Would I buy this one? You guys know I love this middleweight market. Bro, that seat gets so hot my balls are burning. Oh my god, I literally can't even sit on it. Holy crap. Alright, roasted testes, let's go. I got a steering sim lock test first. We got it decent, let's go. Boopity boop. Nah, middle of the road. I give it a 5. Not too bad, but I've had no maneuverability issues thus far on this ride. Alrighty guys, the age-old question of chases, purchase or pass. And who's this bike for? Alrighty guys, would I purchase or pass on the Z650? Now, before I say this, I have to tell you guys, I have a grotesque love affair with the MT-07. I love the way it looks. I love the way it rides. I love the way it can sound if you get an aftermarket exhaust on it. With all that being said, I do think I would pick the MT-07. I would not pick this thing. I don't love the looks, and the ride doesn't seem as fun as the MT-07, but only by a little bit. It's close. There's just something in the DNA that the MT-07 has. I'm not a huge fan of the seating inside this motorcycle. I would much prefer the sitting on top like you do on the MT-07. I will couple that with who is this bike for? I think this bike would be in that class of phenomenal motorcycles to start with as your first bike. Now, here's why. With a 650 power plant, you can have years worth of fun on this bike. I know a lot of people are kind of worried about starting on the 300s or 400s. Somehow people think they're going to get bored on a Kawasaki Ninja 400, but I think people are underestimating what that bike can really do. With a 650, I think you're going to guarantee yourself, if you ride a lot, I think you can guarantee yourself around 3 to 4 years before you really start getting to the point of feeling super confident on this thing. That gives you plenty of time. This bike also comes in at a fantastic price point to where you can get this and learn on it, and it's cheap, so that way if you have a couple downs your first year or so, you know, get some frame sliders on this thing and it'll be fine. You don't got to worry about fairings. I think this is one of the best starter bikes you could get, honestly. I think the power's really fun, especially if you're in a city environment. You are never going to need more power. If you do a lot of commuting, I would say this bike would be fantastic commuting upwards to about an hour a day one way. And, you know, get a bag on the back and you could use this thing to commute to work. I think it would be a fantastic use case for that. But yeah, guys, that's who I think this bike would be perfect for. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It is very helpful for us here to keep doing what we do for you guys. Shout out to Mountain Motorsports. If you guys need a discount on your next motorcycle, we got links in the description. That's how it works with us, guys. If we get a sponsor on here, we try to get a discount for you guys, and we definitely have one at Mountain. So check those guys out. They got a huge inventory. And check that link in the description, and it'll, you know, tell you how to do the discount thing. And guys, this has been a first ride. You guys go out there and ride safe. Put a comment down below. Put OC in your comment. That means you got to the outro crew, because this is the outro of this video. I'm Chaseontwowheels, guys. You guys ride safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, you're looking for an MT-07 first ride, you say? Oh, it just happens to be here. You guys can go watch that video and let me know which bike you think I enjoyed more. Oh man, later guys.